So many animals lived and died without a proper photograph to describe them, except the drawings of scientists and researchers. While some of these animals may have vanished due to natural causes, others fell victim to humanity's exploitations and advancements. Today, we'll be taking a look at the 10 last photos of recently extinct animals. These are not just mere pictures, but reminders of what we have lost. Each picture shows us a species that once lived among us, from the Barbary lions of ancient Rome to the passenger pigeon of North America, and it serves to remind us of our responsibility to protect the environment. It is also a call to cherish and preserve the wonders of our present world before they too become mere memories. Number 10. Barbary lion. Once upon a time, the Barbary lion, also known as the Atlas lion or Nubian lion, roamed across the lands from Morocco to Egypt and reigned as the largest and heaviest among its subspecies. Its regal presence graced the battle areas of ancient Rome, where it stood apart from other lions by its lone nature because food was hard to find where it lived. Unfortunately, the last wild Barbary lion fell to a hunter's bullet in the Atlas Mountains of Morocco in 1942. The Barbary lion story is a sign of humanity's excessiveness, as it was exploited for entertainment, put against gladiators in the Colosseum, and held in captivity by Arabian royalty, London Zoo, and the Tower of London. There is hope, however, as attempts have been made in recent times to resurrect this noble species through breeding. This is the last photograph of a Barbary lion, which is based in the Atlas Mountains. Marcelin Flandrin took it on a flight from Casablanca to Dakar in 1925. Number 9. Pinta Island tortoise. The Pinta Island tortoise, a type of Galapagos tortoise, is sadly one of the most recent big animals to disappear forever. The Pinta Island tortoise was believed to weigh up to 400 pounds and were as tall as 5 feet with their long necks extended. They also had no teeth with a mouth shaped like a beak to help with their vegetarian diet. Interestingly, news of its extinction had gone around as far back as the middle of the 20th century, but hope was found again when they found its last member, a male named Lonesome George, in 1971. But despite efforts to save the species, Lonesome George passed away on June 24, 2012, at over 100 years old, due to heart failure, leading to the official extinction of the species. The tortoise, exclusive to Pinta Island, faced many threats, including human hunting and the introduction of invasive species like goats, which ravaged its habitat. Lonesome George became a symbol of how we must prioritize environmental conservation, and, at one point, he earned the honor of being recognized by Guinness World Records as the planet's rarest living creature.
Number 8. Baiji. Like most freshwater dolphins, the Baiji was quite hidden from the public eye, but still faced grave threats from pollution and overfishing, with habitats shrinking due to the constant development along riverbanks. The last documented sighting of a wild Baiji, captured in a photograph, dates back to 2002. The Baiji had a streamlined body with a really small head, small eyes, a noticeable melon, and a long, slender beak gently curved upwards at its end. Its dorsal fin has a triangular shape, resting low, while its flippers are broad and rounded. Human activity proved deadly for the Baiji, as their numbers greatly reduced within a mere 50 years, leading to their complete disappearance from the Yangtze River in 2007. The Yangtze River went through a transformation through extensive development projects, including the construction of the Three Gorges Dam, the world's largest hydroelectric facility. However, this progress came at a huge environmental cost, with river ecosystems affected by pollution and habitat loss, including that of the Baiji. The extinction of the Baiji is the first documented global extinction of a large aquatic vertebrate in over half a century, similar to the loss of the Japanese sea lion and the Caribbean monk seal in the 1950s. Number 7. Tarpan. The tarpan, known as the Eurasian wild horse, once roamed freely until its extinction sometime between 1875 and 1890. There are two identified tarpan types, the forest tarpan and the steppe tarpan. Although there's not much difference between them, it is believed that they both belong to a single subspecies. The last known animal of its kind, which died in captivity in 1909, stood between 140 and 145 centimeters tall at the shoulders. It had a thick, falling mane, a grulo coat color, dark legs, and primitive markings, such as a dorsal stripe and shoulder stripes. While a photo from 1884 claims to capture the only image of a live tarpan, it is still quite unsure if the photo is original. Of course, there have been efforts to revive the tarpan species, and the resulting conic horses closely resemble them physically. However, genetic analysis shows that they are not true tarpan descendants, so the original tarpan remains a thing of the past. Number 6. Quagga. The quagga, once abundant in South Africa, met a tragic fate at the hands of hunters seeking meat, hides, and pasture preservation for domestic animals. The last wild quagga fell to a hunter's bullet in the 1870s, while the final captive mare passed away in August 1883 at Amsterdam's Natura Artis Magistra Zoo. The quagga had horse-like hindquarters and rusty brown stripes and lived in arid regions south of the Orange River, grazing in small herds alongside Burchell's zebras. In 1987, the Quagga Project began as a mission to revive this lost species, making the quagga the first extinct animal to undergo DNA analysis. Discoveries revealed that the quagga was not a separate species, but a subspecies of the plains zebra. The project's breeding program produced individuals resembling the quagga in appearance, with hopes for future generations to closely resemble its color, striping, and coat pattern. There was only one quagga ever photographed, a female at the London Zoo in 1870. Number 5. Passenger pigeon. The vast flocks of passenger pigeons, numbering in the billions, used to be a breathtaking sight across North America. Their extinction is often remembered for the sheer magnitude of their gatherings rather than the individual bird's beauty. These pigeons, characterized by their long, pointed wings and graceful flight, made up a huge number of North America's bird population, making up 25 to 40% of all land birds. Despite being hunted by Native Americans for centuries, it was European settlers who caused their decline. They were seen as both a food source and agricultural pest, and just like that, passenger pigeons fell victim to various hunting methods. At the same time, competition for food with other animals like wild turkeys and feral pigs further strained their survival. Efforts to reduce their deaths proved futile as the pigeons' population reduced rapidly by the 1870s, with tens of thousands killed on hunting expeditions. The last photographed passenger pigeon was Martha, who died on September 1st, 1914, at the Cincinnati Zoo. Number 4. Western black rhino. The story of the western black rhinoceros stands as a reminder of the devastating impact of poaching on wild creatures. Characterized by dark gray, with 2 horns on the nose, an anterior horn of 1.5 feet, a short neck, and short, thick legs, this animal once lived well across central West Africa but was officially declared extinct in 2011. Despite early conservation efforts in the 1930s that helped the population bounce back from historical hunting pressures, the species faced an increase in poaching by the 1980s, leading to its rapid decline. At the turn of the 21st century, only 10 individuals remained, all of whom fell victim to poachers by 2006. While the larger African black rhinoceros is still alive but critically endangered in eastern and southern Africa, the unique genetic lineage of the western black rhinoceros is now lost forever. There were efforts to revive the western black rhinoceros through artificial fertilization and captive breeding, but all of them faced various challenges, including stress and insufficient time in natural habitats. While some attempts showed promise, most failed, leaving the species at the mercy of poaching and habitat loss. Number 3. Schomburgk's deer. Schomburgk's deer, named after explorer Sir Robert H. Schomburgk. Once lived in Thailand but was officially declared extinct in 2006, while the last known deer was reportedly killed in captivity in 1938. Despite this, some scientists hold hope of spotting a few remaining in the wild. These deer, resembling the Barasingha, were dark brown with lighter undersides and white-tipped tails. They lived in swampy plains with tall vegetation, often gathering in large herds. However, rampant hunting and habitat destruction for rice cultivation reduced their numbers by the 19th century. Aside from this, the deer was also hunted in the wild by tigers and leopards. There were efforts to preserve them, including capturing 8 for European zoos, but none successfully reproduced. One lone survivor lived as a domestic animal in a temple until 1938, tragically meeting its end when attacked by a drunk man who mistook it for a wild deer. Today, only one mounted deer head remains, housed in Paris's museum National d'Histoire Naturelle. Number 2. Golden Toad. The golden toad used to live in a 30 square mile area of Costa Rica's Monteverde cloud forest, and they spent most of their lives underground, emerging to breed during the spring rainy season. In 1987, over 1,000 golden toads were observed mating, but within 2 years, sightings reduced to just one lone male. The last confirmed sighting of a golden toad occurred in 1989, though it wasn't officially declared extinct until 2004. Because they were highly limited in the space where they lived, they were quite vulnerable to environmental changes. Climate change, including severe droughts and exposure to the chytrid fungus, are some of the reasons for their extinction, and scientists have claimed that the golden toad is the very first species to be wiped out by climate change. However, the extinction of the golden toad paved the way for a great cause. In 1991, the Amphibian Specialist Group was formed to look into the plight of the 30% of amphibian species facing extinction, with the goal of protecting them from facing the same fate as the golden toad. Number 1. Thylacine. The thylacine, otherwise known as the Tasmanian tiger or Tasmanian wolf, was once the largest carnivorous marsupial, standing at about 2 feet tall and 6 feet long, including its tail. Found in mainland Australia and New Guinea, it faced rapid decline due to human activity, nearing extinction by the time of European settlement. There were suspicions that more thylacines were still alive in the 1960s, so the extinction of thylacines wasn't officially declared until the 1980s. Thylacine has been a greatly misunderstood animal since the arrival of European colonists, as they were wrongly accused of preying on livestock when they majorly hunted native species like Tasmanian emus, wallabies, wombats, and possums. In fact, new research suggests they likely targeted smaller games due to their delicate skulls and special hunting tactics. Hunting pressures, along with competition from introduced livestock and predators like dogs and foxes, led to the thylacine's extinction. The last known thylacine, Benjamin, spent his final days at Hobart Zoo, where he died due to neglect in 1936. There is footage of Benjamin, showing him yawning, scratching himself, and going about life as any animal would. All of these animals have one thing in common. They were all killed by the excesses of human nature. As efforts are made to revive some of these species, we must also make efforts to preserve the ones we have right now. Are there any particular species that you think would be extinct in a few years? Let us know what you think in the comment section below.